You ever think you've made the boldest, craziest move of your life, and then life just throws you straight into a snake pit anyway? Because, let me tell you, buying an abandoned house on a little island, thinking I'd found paradise, only to have some corrupt official threaten to demolish my new home. That was the kind of whiplash that'll make you question everything. But here's the kicker. I didn't just survive. I turned the tables, and she never saw it coming. Let's rewind a second. My name's Alex, and if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have said my whole life was basically just New York. Subway noise, the same crowded streets, endless deadlines, and that low-key feeling you're one random guy in a city full of random guys. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't failing. The money was fine. The lifestyle was, acceptable. But I never felt like it was actually my life. I guess the city never fit right, like a jacket you keep wearing just because it's hanging by the door. So after one too many days watching the sun set behind skyscrapers instead of mountains, I decided I needed out. Not just out of the city, out of the whole script. I started hunting for a place that would give me some real quiet, somewhere I could breathe deep for once. But the prices, even in the middle of nowhere, were laughable. Just when I was about to give up, the universe, or let's be honest, the weird side of the internet, dropped a listing in my lap. Abandoned two-story house, secluded lot, Caribbean island. The price looked like a typo. The photos showed sun-bleached walls, overgrown trees, ocean in the distance. It looked like a dare. Now, my folks are originally from the islands, Puerto Rican side, so maybe that part of my blood just started pounding. I'd never actually been to the Caribbean for real, but there was something about those pictures. I called, I asked a million questions, I checked, double-checked. Still sounded legit. The house was empty, paperwork clean, no hidden catches, other than the fact that, it was on a speck of land barely anyone had heard of. So I jumped, quit my lease, packed up the best of what I owned, and booked a flight. When I landed, it felt like I'd stepped into some kind of dream. My place, let's call it Sandpiper House, was even more perfect than I hoped. Peeling paint, sure, but the bones were good. Big porch for coffee, wild green all around, ocean breeze. First few days, it was like the universe was apologizing for all those years it stuck me in a Manhattan cubicle. Then came Karen. Now you might think Karen is just a joke, but trust me, her real name was Marcia Cabrera, and she was every bit a Karen and more. Middle-aged, slick bun, the kind of confidence that comes from knowing she can ruin your week if she feels like it. Marcia worked for the local government, and not just worked, she was the queen bee of that island. Or so she told me, first thing out of her mouth when she showed up at my door. Official badge, bright lipstick, the air around her 10 degrees colder than the breeze. "Welcome to Isla Carmela," she said, not smiling. "I'll need a quick word about your processing fees." She actually made air quotes. I thought maybe she was talking about the property taxes, but I'd paid every penny already. I told her so, showed her my documents, everything. Marcia just raised an eyebrow and leaned in. "Mr. Bennett, you and I both know you're not done paying yet, unless you want things to get complicated. Let me tell you, I'm not naive. I could smell the bribe angle from a mile off. But I wasn't about to play that game, so I just stood my ground, nicely at first. Sorry, Marcia, but I'm all squared away. I got the receipts, the emails, everything you need. If there's a real problem, I'll talk to your office. She slid her business card across the table with a smile that said, "You'll regret this," then strutted off into the heat. That night, I lay awake, wondering if I'd made a huge mistake. Did I just piss off the one person on this island who could actually make my life hell? I started digging around online, checking forums and old news articles. Turns out, Marcia Cabrera had a bit of a reputation. A little island queen, squeezing newcomers for cash, running the show like her own private fiefdom. Anyone who fought back found themselves in court, or worse. Next morning, I got my answer. Went to take a shower. Nothing. No water at all. Not a trickle. Checked every pipe, every faucet. Nada. My neighbors had water, so it wasn't an island-wide problem. I dialed Marcia's number, hands shaking a bit, I won't lie. She picked up like she'd been waiting for the call. "Oh, Mr. Bennett, I see you still haven't paid that outstanding water fee. The communal supply is for paying residents only, you understand." Her tone, smug as hell, just about made my blood boil. I told her straight up, "This is illegal. I know you're trying to extort me, and I won't let you get away with it. You want to take this to court? Fine, but I'm not paying a dime." Marcia laughed. "Maybe you don't understand how things work down here. You're not in New York anymore. Nobody's coming to rescue you. You want your water? Pay up. Otherwise, enjoy the heat." Click. Now, I could have packed up and gone home, or just caved. But something inside me snapped. Maybe it was the principle, or just pure stubbornness. I started documenting everything. Photos of the shut-off valve, screenshots, the whole paper trail. I went to the mainland, straight to the regional government. Filed a complaint, left copies of every document. The lady behind the desk looked tired, but she promised they'd look into it. When I got back, I found a notice taped to my door. Big red letters. Official-looking seal. Marcia's signature right at the bottom. Unsafe dwelling. Subject to demolition. You have 30 days to vacate. I stood there in the blazing sun, sweat running down my back, just staring at that paper. The fear hit me, real and heavy. Was this it? Was I really about to lose everything? Because I wouldn't pay a bribe? I could have folded. But then, honestly, I got mad. Like, throw your coffee mug across the room, mad. I booked a hotel on the mainland, showered off 3 days of stress, and started calling lawyers. Eventually, I found one. Miguel Santos, sharp suit, quick eyes, didn't ask for money up front. When I showed him my file, he actually smiled. "Ms. Cabrera's made this easy for us," he said. "Let's bring the sun." Miguel and I spent days pulling together every scrap of evidence. He even talked to my island neighbors. Turns out, a couple of them had been shaken down by Marcia before, just not as blatantly. With our file growing by the hour, Miguel set up a hearing with the regional government, press invited. It was like a school assembly, where they were finally going to expose the bully. We presented everything: photos, emails, voice recordings, copies of her demolition threat. Miguel quoted every law she'd broken. All the while, I kept waiting for Marcia to bust through the doors, start screaming. She never showed. Maybe she thought she was untouchable. Afterward, the officials looked embarrassed, even angry. "We're grateful you brought this to our attention, Mr. Bennett. Ms. Cabrera has been suspended pending a full investigation." A few weeks later, I got a letter saying Marcia was out, removed from her post for gross misconduct and corruption. The new officer even apologized, assured me I was welcome on Isla Carmela, that my troubles were over. He included a full list of the charges they were bringing against her. I kept that list. Sometimes, when I doubt myself, I pull it out and remind myself, yeah, I did that. When the water finally flowed again, it felt like more than just a victory. It felt like the island, after testing me, finally decided I was allowed to stay. My neighbors started dropping by, bringing little welcome gifts, telling me stories about the old days. One of them, Lila, an older lady with a quick laugh, told me, "We needed someone to finally stand up to her. Most of us just got tired, you know?" Made me realize maybe that's what courage really looks like. Just being too stubborn to let someone push you around, even when it's easier to walk away. It's been a few months. Sandpiper House is mine now. No strings attached. Sunrises, coffee on the porch, waves breaking somewhere just out of sight. I'm not pretending I'm some hero. Most days I still wonder if I bit off more than I could chew. But I look around, and I know. This is home, finally. And if Marcia Cabrera ever finds her way back to Isla Carmela, well, she'll be the stranger here, not me. Tell me, was it justice or just revenge?